Larry Elder has been in California media forever, telling the truth in a really smart and sometimes hilarious way. He just ran for governor of California in a recall election against Gavin Newsom. He came up short after the state's media united to call him a white supremacist. Still makes us laugh. It's pretty offensive, actually. But he's not deterred. He has a major announcement for us tonight. Our friend Larry Elder joins us now. Larry, thanks so much for coming on. I'm sorry to laugh at that. I'm sure it's hard for you to laugh at, but it's so insane. So what are you up to next?
But Tucker, you almost have to laugh at it. It's so ridiculous. And actually, the actual quote was, Larry Elder is the black face of white supremacy, Tucker. And the subheadline was, "You've been warned." By the way, one other LA Times columnist referred to my views as white supremacist. Why? Because I'm pro-life, because I don't buy the notion that America is systemically racist, because I want secure borders, because I want us to be energy independent instead of energy dependent, because I know that our urban schools are a disaster. So for all those reasons, I was called the black face of white supremacy and a white supremacist in terms of my views. My announcement, Tucker, is that I'm announcing that I'm running for the presidency of the United States on your program. And thank you so much for giving me this honor and this platform. Of course. My website is elderforpresident.com, elderforpresident.com. And Tucker,
Larry Elder throwing his hat into the ring. Now, you guys know I love Larry Elder. We've checked out Larry Elder in the past plenty of times. And I've never really disagreed on anything Larry has said. Actually, I was supposed to be doing an interview with Larry Elder. I need to get back in contact with this team. If you guys are interested in that, let me know in the comment section. But Larry Elder throwing his hat into the ring. Now, if I'm being totally honest, he's not going to win. I'm just going to keep it real with y'all. I'm just keeping it 100, okay? I don't see anybody beating Uncle Trump at this point in time. And, you know, listen, once again, I rock with Larry Elder. I rock with him. I really do. I really do. You know, I've made no secret about that in the past. Y'all know that. So this isn't me saying there's something wrong with Larry Elder. I wouldn't mind having Larry Elder in 2028. Or even having him as vice president. A Trump Larry Elder ticket? Come on now. Come on now. That would be hot. Now I don't know the rules, you know, specific, if there's any specific rules. Once you declare for president, you can't be like a vice president. I don't know if that's actually a rule. If anybody knows, let me know in the comment section. But I think he would be a great vice president. I think he'd be fantastic. Possibly even DeSantis as a vice president as well. I mean, the jury is still out a little bit on DeSantis, but I would love to see Larry as a vice president, especially for Uncle Trump, and to see the left go absolutely bonkers. Because we got a black vice president on the Republican side. I think that would be hilarious. Or just have, you know, Larry Elder as president in 28. But for 24, I really don't see it. If I'm being just totally honest, which, you know, obviously y'all expect me to be, he's not winning. I don't know if this is just him wanting to, you know, collect something extra for 2028. I do think he would do a great job as president, but like I said, I don't see him winning. But what do y'all think? Let me know in the comment section. I think Trump is just way too far ahead at this point. Case in point, check this out.
The big Ron DeSantis trip to Washington was a big win for Donald Trump. The Florida governor was here yesterday looking to make friends for his likely 2024 presidential run. But 3 Florida House Republicans announced around that trip their endorsement of Trump. One gave her support to DeSantis. That brings Trump's endorsement count to 7 of Florida's 20 Republican House members. Just 1 is for Governor DeSantis so far.
That's Florida's House members alone, okay? Just I don't see anybody beating Uncle Trump. I just really don't see it. Do you guys see anything different? I mean,
the 2024 presidential candidate, Nikki Haley, sharply critical of her Republican challengers in a new leaked memo. I'm going to read part of it for you. Here we go. She says Trump will just be more drama in the future and says DeSantis isn't ready for prime time. There you go. That's part of what she said. Look who's here. In New York, no less. Congressman Byron Donalds, Republican from the great state of Florida, who represents me.
By the way, Nikki Haley, from all of the polls that I've looked at, I don't think she's ever been above 5% support. So as far as I'm concerned, she's a non-factor. I'm not, saying anything bad about her personally. When I'm speaking about this, I'm literally just speaking to poll numbers and chances of possibly winning, in my humble opinion. Like I said earlier, this is no slight against Larry Elder either, so I don't want anybody to twist it into that or make this into that. I would love Larry Elder as president. I would really love him as vice president this go around, and then maybe as president in 28. I think that would be great. Larry Elder as president, maybe DeSantis as vice president in 28. And then, once Larry Elder said, I'm done, then we could have DeSantis in possibly as president and maybe Candace Owens as vice. You know what I mean? Hey, I'm just saying, I'm just trying to play this whole thing out. All right. But yeah, that's just my humble opinion. Once again, this is no slight to Larry, but let's continue.
In my house in Florida. Greetings. Good to see you there, Congressman. Good to see you.
Good seeing you.
Wait a second. You have officially endorsed Donald Trump. Why not DeSantis? He's your
I
governor.
rock with Byron.
Well,
Keep it
Governor
real.
DeSantis has been tremendous. It's really not a slight about him. It's about where the country is today. Look at, you just played it in the last segment. Look at what's happening around the globe. You have China on the move in our own hemisphere. You have them negotiating a new way to transact for oil around our dollar. You need a president who's going to be able to step in day one and get the country from a foreign policy perspective back on track. Not to mention what's happening at the border, what's happening in the various agencies, weaponization against the American people, getting our budget under control, getting inflation under control. The next president's got to hit the ground day one, be effective, know exactly what to do. There's one person who knows how to do that. It's Donald Trump. Listen, he's doing the job. He did the job better than the current guy doing the job.
Have you heard from DeSantis about this?
No, we haven't talked, actually.
Is that deliberate?
No, I don't think so. It's not deliberate. I mean, look, everybody's busy, schedules are in conflict. But at the end of the day, I made a decision that I think is in the best interest of the country. And, and I wish the governor well. He has done a tremendous job for our state. There's no doubt about that. I think it's 48% of voters want Trump to step aside. That's what they said after he was indicted. That's nearly half the population step aside. Does that bother you? No, not really, because look, the first step is you have to get through the Republican nominating process. That's step one. Step two, when it comes to a decision between, I guess, Joe Biden, if he's not rolling eggs or whatever he said the other day. I don't know what he's doing. Anyway, between that and Donald Trump, the question for the American people is very clear. Who did the job better? And it is without question, Donald Trump did a significantly better job as president, as the commander-in-chief.
But they don't.
Facts. I mean, there's literally no debating. And I've shown you guys videos of leftist folks who have woken up to that reality that Trump just did a better job. And yes, DeSantis has done a great job with Florida. Once again, this is no slight towards these folks. Now, once again, I might have a slight towards DeSantis. I'm not too sure about him quite yet, but I will give him credit where it's due, and he deserves credit for doing a great job with the state of Florida. He's done a fantastic job. Fantastic job. Larry Elder's a great guy. Great guy. We've checked him out a million different times on this channel. I've yet to disagree with this guy on anything. I don't think I've had anything critical to say about him until today. And that's just, I don't see him winning. And I don't even think that's even a slight. That's just speaking what I feel like is the truth personally. I don't see anybody beating this guy.
This is just out. I guess that Ron DeSantis is not quite as popular in Florida as people thought. I assume, among other things, that they don't want their Social Security cut or their Medicare cut. Can't do that, Ron.
Read it. 2024 Florida Republican primary poll. In a two-way poll. Trump versus DeSantis. 47 to 32. This is in Florida. This is Ron DeSantis' state, where he's done a fantastic job. He's done a great job. We can all agree to that. Once again, there is no debating on that. There's no debating that Ron DeSantis hasn't done a great job in Florida. You can't debate that. I mean, you simply can't. So to be down by, what is that, 15 points in your own state? I think it says everything you need to know, Ron. I'm just saying, no disrespect. But I'm just saying, But not only that, the polls show, other polls show, that there's no beating Trump at this point in time. Check it out. So as you guys can see here, we're on the Hill, and the title of this one is Trump surges to 13-point lead over DeSantis poll. Former President Trump has flipped the field against Florida Governor Ron DeSantis in a possible 2024 GOP primary matchup, surging to a 13-point lead according to a new Wall Street Journal poll. Trump trailed DeSantis by 14 points as recently as December. How interesting is that? How interesting. But Trump's solid lead now points to signs that DeSantis' not yet announced campaign may be losing momentum. In a head-to-head matchup, GOP voters surveyed said they would back Trump 51% to 38% for DeSantis, the poll found. Even in a more crowded field, with the poll that includes other announced candidates like former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley, Trump still takes 48%. Still takes 48% of the vote to DeSantis' 24% support. I mean, you just can't beat 51, 38. Nikki Haley at 5, Tim Scott at 3. I think Larry Elder's gonna fall somewhere in here. He may jump over Nikki Haley, but he's gonna fall somewhere between Nikki Haley and Tim Scott, maybe slightly above, but I don't see him beating Ron DeSantis or Trump at this point. But I definitely could be wrong. Here in this other poll here from Newsweek, former President Trump has received a boost against both President Joe Biden and Florida Governor, Ron DeSantis. As speculation continues to mount about when Biden and DeSantis will formally enter the presidential race. A premise poll conducted from April 14th to 17th shows Trump leading Biden in a hypothetical 2024 matchup, while Biden leads DeSantis in a theoretical head-to-head in the same poll. Goodness gracious. Okay, so here's the poll. The premise poll asked 1,485 registered voters who they would vote for in a head-to-head between Trump and Biden. The former president won 44% support to Biden's 42%, which obviously is within a margin of error. Premise called those numbers a statistical tie in a press release sent to Newsweek on Wednesday. All right. That poll found Biden with a 1-point lead. I skipped over a whole part. Sheesh. So there was another poll conducted on March 31st to April 3rd. That poll found Biden with a 1-point lead over Trump. Biden performed better against DeSantis in the most recent premise poll, garnering 40% to the Republicans' 37% among registered voters. Now, you tell me, who's beating Uncle Trump? Who's beating him? By the way, Joe Sleepy, yeah, there's speculation that he's going to announce that he's running for president next week.
White House reporter with the Washington Post, Tyler Pager, joins me on the phone right now. Tyler, thanks so much for being with us. So what we know about your report, you guys are saying President Biden is going to be making it official next week. What do we know about, I guess, the details of that pending announcement. This has been a long time coming, has it not?
Yeah, thanks for having me, and that's exactly right. This has been in the works for a while. He's obviously teased this and said he intends to run when he left Ireland last week, telling reporters he's made that decision and it would come soon. And our reporting, as you noted in the Washington Post, is that his advisors, along with him, obviously, are planning for that announcement to come next week, with the target being Tuesday, which coincides with the 4-year anniversary of the launch of his 2020 presidential campaign. And so we're expecting it to be sort of a low-key announcement with the video, and then likely an in-person event sometime later. But this has been long telegraphed, but we're finally getting some more details about it being put into place.
So, allegedly, Biden's going to announce next week, this coming week, and it'll be official. Will no longer be speculation that he may run. It will be official. So, yeah. I genuinely don't see anybody beating Uncle Trump. I really don't. Not Biden, not DeSantis, not Nikki Haley, not Larry Elder. And once again, no shot, no disrespect. I love Larry Elder. Love him. Seems like a great guy. Never met him personally. Had a brief conversation, but and have watched, lots of his videos, but yeah, I don't see it. But would you guys be interested in a Larry Elder as vice president? Let me know in the comment section. Or do you guys prefer Larry Elder over Uncle Trump? How are you guys feeling about all of this? Let me know in the comment section. Do you think these polls are correct? Obviously, it's very, very early. So, we got to take these polls with a little bit of a grain of salt, okay? We understand that, and obviously polls can be wrong, yada, yada, yada. We get it, but that's all we have to go off of other than, public sentiment, which I've shown you guys those videos, Trump walking into UFC and the entire arena going bonkers and chanting USA, USA, Joe Biden getting put on a teleprompter and people booing, his wife being put on a teleprompter and showing up at midfield at I believe the Eagles Stadium and people booing, people walking the streets and asking folks, who do you prefer? Donald Trump or Joe Biden, and people saying, you know what, actually, bring Trump back, man. I've showed you guys all the videos, so if we're going by the polls and public sentiment, if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck, and in this case, it's probably Uncle Trump that I think will win in 24. But like I said, what do you guys think? Do you prefer Larry Elder? Do you think he'll be a good vice president? Do you think he should wait until 28? Or do you think this is just a good strategy to raise some extra money in preparation for 28? Let me know. How y'all feeling? Talk to me. Peace and love. I'm out.